Folks, Black Bull Markets have 10 merch packs to give away to clients who sign up before the end of the year, including one of these trader keys. So to go in the draw, all you need to do is sign up with the link below this video or in the podcast description, and you'll go in the draw to win. It's that simple. And remember, folks, when you sign up to Black Bull Markets through the Trading Nut link below, you're going to get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000 on your first deposit. All you need to do is click the link in the description below the video or the podcast.
Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're at. Hope everybody is well. If someone can post in the comments that you can hear, make sure everything's working properly. That's always good for me. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're trading anything right now. And I'm just gonna get on with morning analysis. My pairs that I trade. I'm just kind of getting through looking at our time frames, looking for anything that's significant and going from there. So let me know if you have any questions. I do like questions. They're helpful for me. So like I said, I'm just going through different time frames here. Currently on Euro USD, looking at adding in some levels that may be worth paying attention to as the session rolls on. All right. Nobody's said anything in the comments yet, so I'm just going to assume you can't hear anything, but maybe maybe you can prove me wrong if you got a second. All right. So on this USD here, I'll look to see if something has a little bit of power to slide below this 5 minutes short-term low. If it can get a decent push down lower, then I could look for a short there. But the way that it looks right now, it's more, it could be either or. Like it could be a pullback and then a continuation up. So I'm not really set on anything too specific here. So I like levels like this that have fair value gap in order block and the same, with like order block falls within the same location. It's worth watching at least. All right, moving on to UJ. I haven't cleaned up my drawings in quite a while, so I'm clearing off everything but daily levels. Get a fresh look at everything. Computer's really chunky right now. So stuff's running really slow. Come on, there it goes. This is looking, just kind of starting to zoom in a little bit on the chart here. This is 1 hour. Okay, 15-minute down. bit of a raid. Potentially. I'm never committed to that idea, but several levels of liquidity there worth grabbing onto, I think. So at this point, though, still just kind of sitting between this high and low. Not really looking like anything's decided as far as direction goes. So I'll be looking for I'm gonna stay slow this week here and look for this structure to break here. Or continue up higher. It's also possible. Could want to reach up into the gap or start looking for higher time frame liquidity. Coming down to these lows down here. Oops. So I'm gonna leave that one on the 15-minute chart. Not get too ahead of myself. Here's the UCAD. There's some news today. 7. It's red on the financial calendar. So something potentially volatile could be going on today. There's a weekly chart. A little bit of a raid there happened. I can click my mouse in the right spot, be a lot easier. There we go. This is intermediate term high. And long-term high. It's a weekly. Okay. All right, so wait a second there. So point out levels here. There's a very gap down here. Just kind of fill in. There is this level down here. Intermediate term low. Shares a high over here. The reactions over there. So that's a potential level for interest. this gap. Not sure if we'll see something that low this week. But point it out. And anything up above what we're at now. Not really any imbalance in this move. See it on the hourly chart. You can see the wick is balanced out here. A little bit there. So there's potential for liquidity just at the tops here. So if you're just tuning in, I'm just kind of still looking around doing higher time frame analysis stuff. Nothing's standing out as an immediate need for getting into a trade. I'm also trying to be a little slower on my entries. So no rush, no rush. Okay, so this area looks kind of interesting up here. If we can see, if we get to see price move in this direction. So you can see that the blue fair value gap I just highlighted there. It's got buy side liquidity right there's a right there at the high or at the low of that gap, and then there's also oops, wrong button. It's kind of order block level. Although I'm not sure, still learning, and I don't know if that's technically would be an order block level, but it's a big chunk of upward movement that's broken down. It's got a fair value gap, so it does look like it, but there's also these greens here, so like it may not fully classify as an order block, which is okay. Just still level to look at. If I look here just at the 15-minute. Looks like it's this sell side. That didn't land in the right spot. Hang on. There. So just barely tapped into that, which doesn't convince me that it's done taking that liquidity out. There could be a reach down to imbalance down here. And after that, just gets into the weeds of the new session the other day. So is there any location for a short entry here? Let's see. It's a pretty teeny tiny fair value gap in here. There. And at this moment, it's being respected. So the thing that I'm not, back to 15 here. I think a more likely opportunity for me, instead of looking at this 5-minute structure here, my tendency is to want to use the, basically make the trade appear. um, so instead, I'll be using this full run. That's probably easier to see on the 30-minute here. So this one came up. Just, I don't normally look at the 30-minute, but it's a nice chart to look at this in. So returned up to this fair value gap, order block, and pushed it down. Broke into a little bit of this liquidity, but very well could seek a deeper grab. So I have a couple different locations within this chart to pick out a spot. Number one probably being this guy here, which has a 15 and a 5-minute fair value gap overlap. So I'll watch for that to get a little higher. Set an alarm so I can not miss move up. Yeah, just need to have a sign of direction change. All right, so these ones I looked at earlier before being on the stream. This is S&P as well as the NASDAQ. It's the blue ones. So overall, you can see the different charts I look at. Put in your daily lines, highs and lows. New York midnight is a thick black line. Certainly let me know if anyone has any questions. Appreciate questions. They help me to consider more deeply what I'm doing. Okay, just gotta, oh, that's quick. So this CAD chart in there, again, there's news coming out that's red on the economic calendar, so I won't be probably jumping into trade right at this moment, but it would be nice to see what happens. At the turn of the hour. Says right up in here. could be used for an entry. We're already sitting inside of this middle fair value gap, which I don't like using. So I'll wait and see if there's anything that comes down this far. See how close this leg moved up to this old high, but left it. So coming back for balancing and potentially give me a time to get into a long. Nothing really yet, but I like this possibility of liquidity up here. You can again. News comes out in just a couple minutes. Okay, I will be right back. Alrighty, back I am. The structure's breaking up here, coming into the gap over here. You can just barely took out that little high. That respected the volume imbalance there. Just a little from closed to open gap came up right inside of it. There's an entry for me there, but that was also not part of my plan. I was waiting for this level to break here, so no big deal there. So I'll see on this one, kind of wait and see what happens out of this level. See if there's any respect to this gap. It's a 15-minute gap. Coming down to past the lows on the NASDAQ, so it's just a little bit weaker than the S&P. A little bit of a gap there. It could be toying with this spread. I'm just going to highlight this whole block. So on both, either of these, I'll need to see some sort of structure shift. So there's a high and a high that I could use for a structure shift level. Oh, someone made a comment. William's looking for any insights on Bitcoin. Insights on Bitcoin. No, not really. I have a little bit more for long-term type. Is there any cryptos on here? BTC. Yeah, let's see. Here's Bitcoin. Whoa. Oh, that's cool. Looks like it's moving up. There you go. There's an insight. Some Bitcoin moving up. Get these nasty colors out of here. Hey, that's cool. I would actually check this out in a bit because I don't usually pay attention to it. I just have just a couple $100. Cool. I'll leave it at that. No, I don't have any insights, but it's moving up. So this is an interesting thing to see here. Like if you're, so I highlighted this 15-minute fair value gap. If you look at a 5-minute chart though, then it's like, oh, this price has already moved and closed below the fair value gap. But what I'm actually interested in is seeing on the 15 what it does. Does it maybe move down and create a wick, but then still close inside of the gap? And then I would have a little bit more. It would show me that price is respecting that a little bit more. So that's interesting to me. Anything, is this a significant enough move to consider looking for a trade? It's got a raid level up here, but yeah, no, it's actually a pretty okay liquidity grab up here. Came up into the volume imbalance. The 5-minute chart there. Guess we'll wait and see if there's a new gap created at the end of this candle. That would give me enough to consider looking for a trade. Maybe 1-minute chart. Hmm. 2-minute, 3. It's just not a very convincing displacement move. So I think on that one, I think I'll just keep waiting. See what Cat's doing here. Oh, look at that. So again, I drew out the gap on the gap exists on the 15-minute chart. Now we're potentially getting a big old 5-minute engulfer candle. Needs to leave some sort of entry area for me though. This one has a better opportunity right there. This little structure break here I was talking about did not leave a gap. No imbalance there. So there's no tradable zone in this move for me. So just gotta keep waiting on that one. UJ is kind of with it, just kind of stuck still between these two levels. Still need to see. William, the first couple hours, or I think it's like 2.5 hours. I think it's kind of what ICT calls a morning or AM kill zone, or like that's when you look for the trade to take. And then there's lunch after that, and then there's an afternoon session that you can watch for trades too. It's just kind of the time factor of the equation, time and price. And ICT actually puts greater emphasis on time. That's the first thing to consider, and then price. So pricing here on the USD CAD is returning to a gap, but it's coming after not breaking any sort of structure. So this level here is a move from this raid down, but there's not really anything there. So nothing to trade. It's kind of, the indices have the most like potential to me right now for actually taking a trade. So I could see looking for an entry down here on a 3-minute. Maybe it's a little bit of a force. Oh wait, really been my focus the last couple of weeks has been to not force, not jump into trades. Last week I think I had 2 trades, and guess what? I came out profitable. So that means more than taking lots of trades and coming out a loser. So I'm just going to be kind of waiting, looking for a way to get in on the going long on the S&P most likely. S&P has room structurally to have a full another pullback lower than that level. Um, 15-minute has something I'm learning about potentially, which is consequent encroachment, I think is what it's called, which is the 50% level of a big wick treated as an imbalance, which is there. Stretch that a bit. So that's something to consider watching for level. Maybe I'll put my alert right down there so I can not miss it. But it's kind of a sloppy, but 5-minute structure has been broken by the price moving up above this guy right here. A little bit scared of that imbalance in here. Even equal highs. Here. Choppy, choppy. Okay. Okay, so this is close enough for an entry here for me. 5-minute structure break. A level, both the old fair value gap that was respected. There is new fair value gap here. consequent encroachment level, volume imbalance, handful of things all kind of playing into favor here. So I have basing this trade on this bigger move here that I have highlighted. And so my stop sits below. Trying to get to where you can see it, there we go. Below that move by the defined, my predefined 10%. That's what it is. Just based on the fib levels. So here I will look for an engulfing, a bullish engulfing bar to consider the entry. Just checking on the NASDAQ to see if it's equally enticing. Oh, you got your ball, bud. Got a puppy. He's excited. All right, so invalid trade idea at this point. Still okay to consider for long, just not yet. Need to have a new structure form. What does it look like here? This looks like moving fast at this point. It's pretty fun. I like watching price action. It speeds up. It gets crazy. Okay, this was an invalid. Volume imbalance didn't. I'll leave that one there. Looks like I'm going to be not trading this morning. Yeah, I got about 5 minutes left, so let me know if you have any questions. If you have any curiosities or criticisms, also good. What are you getting, Doug? Did you ball under there? You did. Oh, there. So this price action here is why I wait for an engulfing bar. Because there's plenty of times where if I got in on a limit, let's just say I was looking at this and say, oh, look at that. Volume imbalance. Like same things I pointed out, but then if I use that as an entry by itself, then I can stop that right away. So that's why I implemented the engulfing bar entry. So hopefully that makes sense a little bit here. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. I'll keep watching later to see if there's any possibility for a trade. I don't see it happening at this point. So um, with that, I will bid you farewell. Have a good day, and I'll be back next Wednesday, same time. So have a great rest of your trading session or day or work.